Jake, what can Ray do?
I think Ray, he needs to pray. Maybe that's what he was doing when he was on and off, you know, in and out of the game. But I think he needs to, if he gets a nice early start, it's 2 frags maybe off the, you know, back to back. I say that as he's literally losing his stack to Ved. I think that's what he needs to do early on, but I mean, it's so tough against someone like Ved who is always thinking. He's not a dumb player. I know that sounds really stupid, but he's just always thinking a couple of steps ahead.
Of course, Zorik ahead by 5 steps rather than a couple. Ray gonna get knocked down, and it looked, well, a little bit simple, didn't it?
Look at that. I mean, it's so important on maps like Frontier, like Skyrake, if you can push in with your shaft on the fresh spawned opponent before they can pick up any sort of armor. He just dies so quick, and Ved has already done that. He's 2 kills up. He's now just guarding the pincer because he knows Ray's going to want to grab that. I mean, you know, Vedmedik can time, right? We call Zorak the time master. That doesn't mean Ved can't time. Ved is a great timer.
You say we.
Oh dear.
That one might have been all you, Jake. I don't know. Look, I'm really trying to separate myself from the minor racism that we unfortunately did.
What are you on about?
You know what I'm on about. Vedmedik pushing into the red, looking confident, looking very dapper, I would say, Jake, with that shaft. Oh, and he's going to get the frag.
Dapper, please. Oh dear. This is not the start Ray wanted. I'm going to say the most obvious thing I can think of right now. Is Ray plays into Ved's hands so often. He makes so much sound when he's out of control. That's what Ved likes. He said it himself, he likes tracking his opponent, which sounds very predatory, but that's what he does. You know, he just lies in wait, tracks you, and just hits you really hard with his insane accuracies.
Yeah, pretty much, right? He's just this walking tank that if you're in range, you're taking a lot of damage. And I think that's what we saw a lot from Zorik. Like, he would approach Ved in really unconventional ways, like whether it was from a double high ground drop or, you know, using rockets from unseen angles. He was avoiding Vedmedik's screen like the plague. And Ray currently is on Vedmedik's screen quite a lot. But does get on the Mega. More stack for him now, up against 100 Ved. 100 stack advantage for Ray. What can he do with it?
I think this is a really nice opportunity to see how different Ved will play this position than Ray did, right? Ray doesn't make it that difficult for someone like Vedmedik to get damage on, and I think we'll see right here that Ved will make it so hard for Ray to get any sort of clean shots or clean opportunities for damage. And right there was a perfect example. Ved hits a really nice pincer shot, backs off instantly, and that's it. He doesn't greed it, doesn't chase anyone. He just plays it smart and plays it at an arm's length all the time.
Ved gets a lot of damage with the shaft there. Backs off. Will be a second red in the right. If he can get it. Ray actually manages to push on. And Ved doesn't get that much of a bead on him with his shaft, actually. Ray's going to pick up the major, and with a pincer brings Ved incredibly low. That should be mega for Ray, I think. It is. Oh, and I had an apple, Jahar. You missed that as well. Sorry, I was important. Vedmedik. Not a whole lot of stack to work with here, Jake. This is one of the toughest situations we've seen him in today.
Yeah, rare opportunity to see him try and play from underneath. Great push from Ray. Played that very quiet up until the last moment, and you could see how much that surprised Ved. Bear in mind when the times that Ray has streamed his duels against Vedmedik in practice, the scorelines have been so huge. You know, Vedmedik has won the games sort of double-digit frags to Ray's -2 and things like this. Like, they have not been close games, and this is probably the closest I've personally seen. It probably has been games before, but this is the closest I've personally seen Ray be to Vedmedik in a duel so far.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we're looking at a 3-5 scoreline right now. Do you want me to admit something? I honestly thought Vedmedik would beat Zorik War. So this is properly shocking to me. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so glad to be wrong, but Ray, great fight here. Pincer as well, 4-5. Is he about to make, as I said, the largest upset in Diabotical duel history happen? I think that's what it is, Jake. I think that's what it is if Ray wins this.
Quite possibly. We did see Agent drop into the lower bracket in, I believe,
yeah, it's a thousand talk.
Yeah,
Timcon Monthly number 3. Exclamation point Patreon in the Timcon chat.
Oh my god. Yeah, imagine the viewers of this going to your channel into the empty chat and typing that in and giving you money. Imagine it.
It'd be good,
Mental.
wouldn't it? Ray. Looking a little bit worse for wear at 100-100. Both blues are up, but I don't think he wants to show his face anytime soon. One blue for him.
All the good...
Is he going to jump over to the other? And then he'll set up for Mega. This is actually a great position for Ray.
Yeah, this is the strength of this side of the map, right? But Vedmedik has already got...
Oh, no.
Actually sneaks in. No, this is not good for Ray.
The rocket. No, it's not as bad as it could have been, though. He did a great amount of damage there. I don't understand how Ved got there so quickly after the red. I'm imagining maybe he RJ'd, actually. But Ray holds on. That could have gone much worse than it did, and I know he's in a disadvantaged position right now, but as I say, I think he can kind of be counting his blessings, and he narrowly avoids death once again.
Just shows you the power of trying to minimize the amount of sound you're making, because it's so easy to forget how loud you are when you're running around, because you don't hear your own footsteps, obviously. You know, your enemies hear that only. But it allowed him to escape there and actually keeping this game at 1 frag difference. Because despite all the good work Ray's done, he's still a frag behind, and it still doesn't. He's not anywhere close to fragging Vedmedik at the moment. You know, the last minute or so, he hasn't come close at all to getting a kill on Ved. Ved's come close to killing him, but not the other way around. So Ray's done quite a good job keeping this close.
He really has. And I think just holding on versus Ved is honestly more than anybody could ask for. He is such a force. Right. Making a bit of noise. Is that a trap? I don't know, but Ved's behind him. Michael Myers with the jump scare. What in the world is that? But the Rockets, once again, Ray's holding on so well and just keeping the beast at bay.
Ray loves his rockets, and he's shown right there that bit of terrain on front here. I'm going to call it a controversial bit of terrain.
Well,
really,
you don't mince your words, do you, Jake?
Absolutely not.
No filter on this, man.
I'll be talking to Promius next week about that.
And by next week, you mean in 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Big damage from Ray, you kidding me? Why can he never do it at such a time that it nets him an item though, Jake?
You know, sometimes it's not about grabbing the item, it's about doing so much damage on the opponent's item that it's not even worth them going for it. That's
He's given away every
page out of Vedmedik.
Oh!
He has. But look at the stacks, Joel.
Look at him. Wow, I don't know. This feels so sort of... It seems unsustainable almost what Ray's doing here. Whereas what Ved's doing is it's simple, right? It's just get the item. But Ray does get himself onto a Mega, a blue as well. He's up to that 150 armor stack, and you can begin to think about taking a fight here. Ved, that much lower than him, doesn't have this blue, and surely we're going to see Ray make a real claim for the next red.
It's the side of the map he's kind of refrained from going to until now. He's actually ventured over here,
Bang.
albeit silently. I think Ved heard exactly where he was, though. This is the thing. Ved knows where you are, man, because he just lies in wait. And what's interesting is when we saw Zorak play Ved earlier, Zorak was able to pin Vedmedik down and actually get him in positions where he can pick up easy frags. Ray can't seem to do that to Vedmedik. Oh, lucky
He's
Rocky
giving away the Mega.
He's going to get red.
Yeah, sorry,
Yes.
the red, yeah. This is pretty good, actually, from Ray. I'm surprised he managed to escape there quite so cleanly, and it's that pincer. He's staying in this. We are going to be nearing golden frag for Ved. It's going to be 10 seconds away, and I think Ray actually betting on himself here, saying, okay, you can have golden frag. I'm just going to get 2 frags. It's not a problem.
Golden frag.
There it is. Damage from Ray. 1 pincer, 2 pincer. Up to jump pad? Absolutely. Here's the shaft. Oh my dear lord.
No Mega there.
I can't believe it.
No
I
Mega
can't
there.
believe it. He's gonna take it to 5-5 mutual golden frag. It's sudden death, Jay.
This is the best we've seen Ray play all day. He's playing his best right now when it matters.
The best I've ever seen Ray play.
Oh no.
We're seeing some mortality from Vedmedik, but no, right in the last closing moments of the game, he's gonna take it. Heartbreak for Ray, and a much needed win for Ved.
Man. What are the pickups looking like here? Way more pickups. Yeah, it's going to be perilous. You know, Ray loves that map, but Ray collects in 29 blues, by the way, last game. Really not going towards that red side of the map like we saw. And it nearly works for him, man. So close.
I can't help but feel kind of deflated after that.
Feel for him then, yeah.
You know, empathy off the charts right now for Ray. Just what a horrible way to go down. Just grueling, agonizing. You've put so much effort into it. You've brought yourself in contention. He was like 5-1 down, I think. And he's almost done it. And then just at the end, when he needed his clutch rockets the most, they've let him down.
Well, if there's one thing, you know, that Ray can take a bit of solace in, is that was Ved's pick. Ved's been picking Frontier as his kind of primary for most of this event. This is now Ray's pick. So it's not all doom and gloom, I don't think, for Ray.
Big moment for Ray there. Actually holds his own versus the shaft of Vedmedik. Not many people can do that. Ray, big stack now. Big stack.
Yeah, Red and Mega couldn't be more synced right now if they tried. So it might just be, again, a slight gentleman's agreement. Gonna grab an item each. Kind of that inverse stack as you mentioned earlier, where one has slightly more health and the other one has slightly more armor, so it just makes these next fights at the Red and Mega even more valuable. But it's actually Ray that grabs Red, so his stack is looking really mean right now. I think Ved's already setting up early for the Mega. Nice and early, just defending
jump
it from the high
over
ground.
to... Let's jump to Ved's POV. We haven't seen him in a little while. Hit snap stuff. Beautiful stuff. Now with the shaft.
Sort of dance and the platform to the high ground, to the platform to the high ground. Just going to go straight through here. Look at that. It's decisive, that.
That is. Oh! I didn't see that coming. Big opportunity here for Ray, and he takes it.
Great rockets from Ray. He does have great rockets. It has to be said. Ved, unfortunately, just managed to get the Mega, but obviously had no gun to speak of. And look at Ray. I feel like this is a Ved-specific trap. Bait in the shaft, because he knows Ved loves it.
You know, I've got a theory. I think that Rocket favoring players do disproportionately well in tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's the highest variance rate. It's the one that can really make the difference. And the likes of Cypher, the likes of Agent, and perhaps now Ray added to that list, is looking at making a real go of things here after I pretty much counted him out of this entirely. Did so well on Frontier, ahead now on his map pick Perilous, and a lot of patience. Could have pushed in there. Could have. Had the stack advantage. No. He's betting on himself. But he lets Ved onto the Mega. Needs to do damage here. And so far, not bad from Ray. Not bad at all, actually. 2 pincers and a rocket.
Great rockets from the higher ground. Again, not exposing much of his body. Using the rockets instead of the shaft. Great choice. And he hits the 2 pincer shots as well. Really well played from Ray. And what a story this would be if he does take down Vedmedik in the losers final. Like I say, in practice, Ray, I'll be completely honest, doesn't usually come anywhere close to beating Vedmedik.
No, you were saying, I mean, the sort of scorelines you're used to seeing. Is Ved, after that loss to Zorak, still the player we saw earlier today, or is this Ray really rising to the occasion, do you think?
It's a tough one, because I think, you know, Ved's not had to play for a while, and, you know, Ray's completely warmed up, I would say, from going through the losers bracket. He had that tough series with Duel Bars just now. It's a fine balance, right? Are you warmed up? Can you warm up as much as possible without burning yourself out? And I think Ray right now is playing like he's really warmed up and just sort of feeling it right now.
He's in the optimal operating temperature, as we talk about it in the world of motorsport tyres.
Oh, God.
Always got to get one in there, Jake. Always got to get one.
If there's one critique I slightly have for Ray, and you know, this is a tournament, there's actually a lot of money on the line right now. His timing is letting him down slightly here. He's frequently gone to the item spawns that are nowhere near coming up, and unfortunately it is allowing Ved to keep this monstrous stack. I wonder if he maybe needs to just try and listen out a little bit more to see when Ved had collected these items, so he can try and make an effort to get the next one.
So much free damage here, though, for Ray. He's done well. He's done really well, but Ved, unfortunately, just has that much more.
Yeah, stuck that there, man.
Well, and it's not just that he doesn't get on the item because of his poor timing, but actually, he can't read where Ved is because it's based on the items, right? If he knew when the items were, he'd know where Ved was. And now, one of the scariest things in all of Diabotical, it's Vedmedik with full control and all the momentum.
He's trapping that blue because he would have known that Ray spawned on red, and naturally he wants to try and get as much armor as possible. So the blue is the natural choice. Plays it well, and he doesn't. Ved just doesn't let you get items free of charge usually. Right? Sometimes, it's unavoidable that the guy will spawn on red and just get it for free. But all the other ones, Ved's always there, just doing some sort of damage.
Always. And so Ray needs to work his way back into this one, 2 frags down. What a story it's been, though. What a series it's been. Ray putting on more of a fight, putting up rather more of a fight than any of us had expected, or at least that I'd expected. And here, great damage. Ved pushing in, and ooh, it's not often that when Ved pushes in, it looks silly, but that looked pretty weak. Ray keeping him at bay very well.
I've not seen too many kind of, pincer shot openings from either player. They're both obviously using the pincer, but compare it to the match we saw between, I believe it was Ray and Death. It was Death Row and someone. I think it might have been Ray and Death Row. There's so much pincer action on Perilous, but neither player kind of giving away the angles,
Huge stacks for both of them. Pretty much maxed out. Not a whole lot in it. I believe Ved probably has like 10 less total stack. And he's just taken away a whole lot from Ray. This is a terrible opening for him. These rockets are doing nothing. On the red now is Ved and dropping down. It's such an easy frag. Live by the rocket, die by the rocket, and I'm beginning to lose hope, Jake.
I think it's particularly tough because Ray did well to get an equal amount of stack, but attacking through that teleporter, players are getting so much better at defending that push now. That teleporter can be scary if you're kind of weaker than your opponent or have less stack. But Ved, a player like Ved can hold that teleporter push quite easily, and unfortunately, Ray was just punished there for trying to push into the red.
Yep. On the mega hit is Vedmedik, almost 200 health, armor stack be damned, pushing in with this shaft, and Ray can't hold position on the red.
Yeah.
2 to 6. And what could have been a win on Frontier, what could have been such a good game here on Perilous, I think is sliding out of Ray's grasp. It's now or never. It's do or die. It's kill or be killed.
Great work from Ray, honestly, and Ved's opting not to go straight for red. And Ray has found himself on the red. Oh, this is always a weird place to meet, and Ray actually wins the rocket fight. Well played, sir.
Very well played indeed. We get to watch Ray's POV for the first time in a little while. 3 frags to make up. It's still such a tall order. But he's given himself every chance. And the mental fortitude to stay in games this long that have been this closely contested. You've really got to respect these players. They're putting on a great show for us. Way for Ray. Red coming up. Ved's on it. Ray, I think, with the slightly better effective stack, but in a fight like this, it could go either way for sure. Shaft out for Ved. Not hitting all that much is Ray, and they're going to meet perhaps over at the blue. They are indeed. The rocket, good, but not great. The pins are off the mark, and now Ray, 37 HP. YA is there, but Ved is large. He's in charge. He's a big boy. Malloy, Jake.
Stack is unbelievable right now for Ved. Lucky for Ray that he missed that pincer shot, though, because that would have been really disastrous. Obviously, Ved's stat will tick down slowly. Just about whether Ray can avoid him for long enough. Oh, Ved's just grabbing everything, man. Ray just holding the high ground. Unlucky from Ved there. He just made himself silent just long enough to where Ray thought he'd maybe gone elsewhere, and you can see what he's trying to do with that push, but unfortunately he just flew off the other side.
The tension, man. The tension. Ved. He's fighting for his fate, for his destiny to face Zorkor in the grand finals. It's the story we were all talking about. Ray trying to spoil his day. Ved, he's so good at playing this quiet, isn't he? Just giving up nothing.
Yeah. I would say though, this is the most vulnerable I've seen Vedmedik so far in Diabotical in this series. Obviously, apart from Zorak beating him in the upper bracket, but you know, if Zorak is playing as well as he played earlier, then he is looking odds-on favourite for the whole thing.
Always was, Jake. Always was.
But let's see which one of them will be facing him in the grand finals.
Okay. Ray pushing in. It seems like with conviction here. Ved does a great job of hitting his pincers though. And now he can go over to this YA. Looking for damage, but Ved is playing this so cautious.
Yeah, look at that. This comes from such a weird angle to Ray. Ray is trapped now. This could be it. And it will be.
There
Good
it
game
is.
from Ved.